morning assembly, which was held on the 3rd of July, was conducted by our teacher, Ms. Jyoti Tiwari. The assembly commenced by offering a solemn and reverent prayer to God, titled "Bhakt nahi wo bhala hai dhoondta, gud dekhe gudgan nahi." We were then riveted by the two powerful videos.
কি খুঁজছিস তোরা?
নর্থ স্টার।
নর্থ স্টার? ওরে বাবা, তুই তো বড় হয়ে অ্যাস্ট্রোনট হবি।
সত্যি?
হ্যাঁ।
আমি কি হব?
তুই হবি স্টার, বড় ফিল্ম স্টার।
একদম ঠিক বলেছো, স্টার হবে।
आपके भाई या पापा कोई हैं?
बताओ क्या हुआ? वो भी आके मुझे ही बताएंगे।
राजू, दिस इज फैंटास्टिक वर्क। प्रिंसिपल मैडम को अच्छे से प्रेजेंट भी करना पड़ेगा। क्या बोलोगे?
This windmill is actually a model of a wind turbine, and it's powered by a motor of this old toy car. And you know, we made this to emphasize that we must switch now to wind energy. How was the class today for you? It was so hot for me.
കോഡിംഗ് ഒക്കെ അറിയാമോ?
പിന്നെ കഴിഞ്ഞ വർഷം പഠിക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങി.
ये देखो क्या हाल बना के। वाओ मिया, ये सब तुमने बनाया है? सबकी बेटियां प्रिंसेसेस और फेरीज बन के आएंगी और उनके बीच में मेरी बेटी डस्टबिन कैप पहन के रोबोट बन के खड़ी रहेगी। कैसे लगेगा बोल?
पापा मैं करूं? मुझे पता है मैं वो फोन पे
गोरेशन चेवन को तुम्हारे कपड़े गंदे हो जाएंगे अंदर हाथ से।
मेरे बाइक का बॉय, न्यू बाइक। कैसी है?
इट्स नाइस, सिंगल सीटर है।
तो अब तुम घर तक लिफ्ट किससे लोगी? ABS है क्या?
1000 cc है, होगा ही।
पिकअप कैसा है?
4 seconds, 0 to 100।
सुन, जब दो बाइकर्स आपस में बात करते हैं ना, तो बीच में बोला नहीं करते हैं।
2 का पता नहीं, पर 1 तो है।
Which made us wonder whether we have created a hierarchical system of treatment based on genders. Despite our rising affluence, are we still harboring conformist attitudes? We were then asked to predict the theme of the morning assembly.
You must have understood what the theme of today's morning assembly is. Yes? Can some of you people please stand up and let me know what do you think is the theme of today's assembly?
It's about the stereotypes like for the women, like the biases against the women.
We were then apprised of the Baby X experiment. In a 1975 experiment by Phyllis A. Katz and colleagues, adults were asked to interact with an infant. Some were told the baby's name was David, others were told the same baby was named Dana. The baby was actually a girl, but the name was the only thing that changed. And here's what happened. Adults who thought the baby was a boy described the baby with adjectives such as strong, active, and proceeded to give the baby a toy truck. On the contrary, adults who thought the baby was a girl said she was sweet, delicate, and gave her a doll. The first question invited us to pause and wonder, who decides what should belong to girls or boys? Have these ideas always stayed the same, or have they transformed as we've grown?
Who decides what's girly, and what's manly? And have these meanings ever changed in your perception or in the perception of those around you? Who gets to decide this as to what is manly and what's girly? When you see a person behaving a certain way, or when you decide what gifts are to be given to somebody, what is your basic parameter?
So I think that these ideas that something is particularly girly or manly do not originate, or arise from an individual. It's a socially constructed idea that we, all of us, our ancestors have contributed in forming all these ideas. And from my vantage point, they have not completely changed. We have seen a lot of growth, but let's say I remember that in one of your classes itself, we had a debate that the science stream is mostly taken up by men, the male gender, and I think we had a huge discussion in that class. So I think that's false. We can see that today, right?
And if I ask you, have you ever experienced this? Have you ever been gifted something just because you're a girl and you thought the gift was actually too girly?
I don't think so. I think this idea was instilled in me. I have always loved dolls. Since the time I was growing up, I have always loved dolls, and I never realized it at that age that it was because of my gender. I think I love dolls, and that's why.
As Somalini beautifully mentioned, that society decides what's girly or manly, and yes, I'd like to share a personal anecdote. Now, as a child, I was never really fond of, one of those kitchen sets that you're given. So, and on every one of my birthdays, till I was about the age of 8, I had always been given at least one kitchen set. So, I asked my mother, okay, why am I always given a kitchen set? And all of my guy friends or all of my male friends, we give them, those Hot Wheel cars. So whenever I went to their homes, I really enjoyed playing with those. So I interrogated that, okay, why don't I get those? So she said that, oh, because you're a girl, so that's why people usually prefer to give you such gifts. So ever since then, whenever I am going to a little child's birthday, I tell my mother that ask the child what they want. Because you cannot decide on your own that because of their gender, they would like a specific thing. Society are the ones who decide what is girly or manly, because it is not a universal law. It is the human idea that we have created, the preconceived notions that we've made, that we have related certain colors, we've related some certain habits to women exclusively and some to men exclusively. Like men shouldn't be too expressive, men shouldn't cry, they're supposed to be very strong, they're supposed to be very fierce. And yes, I believe this perception has changed, but for example, during the Victorian era, the blue color was usually seen, men were usually seen wearing the pink color, because it was considered very legal and very bright, and blue was considered a soft color. That is why women wore the blue color, but then now it is the exact opposite. Heels were invented again during the Victorian era for the royals and the horsemen, but now again it is just considered a fashion statement for women. And if we see a man ever wearing makeup or taking care of their skin or their body, we tend to, not of course all of us thankfully, but some of us definitely use derogatory and crude terms to belittle that person, because that person dared to speak against these stereotypes and they dare to step out of this box. And now recently, for these past couple decades, I would say, of course, things haven't completely changed, as the first speaker very rightly said, but they have gotten better as women are entering more into the workforce and people have changed their mindsets. They have become more accepting in general.
Another question urged us to recall times when we might have silenced our own wishes, all because someone said, that's not for boys, or that's not for girls.
Have you ever stopped yourself from doing something just because it's not for your gender? And why? Have you ever taken a seat back? Has it ever happened that you wanted to do a certain thing but you didn't do it because you thought that it was not fit for your gender? If I simply quote an example of Ansh, a former student, why is he known today? Simply not because he was the head boy, but also because he was a great dancer. Of course, it's a very great thing, but what makes me think is, Why do we need to applaud somebody so highly just because he's a boy and a dancer? Had it been a girl, would we have the same thoughts? Why is it so surprising for us if there's a boy who dances well? Why? And why do we not see boys on an annual day being there dancing or in our functions? Why is it not there? Come on.
So when I was a kid, I in some class 5th or 4th, I actually wanted to dance at that time. But the thing was that one of my friends, I'm not going to name them, they told me that it is meant only for girls, and if you dance, then we'll call you a chicken and baby girl. And actually I was so shy that I refused to dance at that moment, and I took up acting. As the ones who are here from the last 9 years, they know that I was the one who played the big part role. So, but it is now that I have broken out of those norms and I have again started dancing.
When I see people from my own gender liking sports, they're often termed as pick-me's. They're often termed as attention seekers for the male gaze. They're only taking interest in a specific thing that's so normalized for the other gender that now when the other gender, the females, they start taking interest in what is so normalized for the male. It's often termed as pick-me, and now that I've started to take an interest, take an initiative to watch sports, I often think that I will be termed as the same thing that other girls are termed.
Because one of my friends fell, so he got injured and he was crying. So his father came and said, "Why are you crying? तुम लड़की नहीं हो, तुम रो क्यों रही हो?" That actually was very sad for me to know that people are actually saying this कि तुम लड़की हो तो तुम रो कैसे रही हो, कह रहे हो, because boys are not supposed to cry. What is that, what kind of stereotype is this?
The third question made us wonder whether society applauds or disapproves of those who defy gender norms.
If someone breaks a gender stereotype, do people cheer on them or judge them? And why do you think that happens? What happens if somebody chooses to maybe think of something out of the box, to choose something which is not primarily meant for their gender? What happens?
But if I ask how many of us have ever watched a women cricket match, the number goes down to less than 10%. So this is what shows that the society has built a norm that sports are meant for men and for the rather so-called stronger race and the stronger gender. And people have started being biased against women for centuries now. And this is what's a flaw in the society which needs to be break up.
When we break out of gender stereotypes, there are both types of people. There are both extremes. Have you ever seen, of course you've seen, females driving? Do you ever see the response of the people on the road when they see a female driving a car? I have seen people staring a lot. It's baffling and surprising and infuriating to see that people are still surprised when they see a female driving. Do you know what the statistics are? We say that whenever there's an accident, why is it always assumed that it was a female who was driving a car? It is assumed. And statistically speaking, that's not the case. Statistically speaking, we always say that women speak more. They like to talk more. They are very talkative people. There was a case study that was conducted in a class where a professor was asking questions to their students, a general conversation. And it was observed that provoked or unprovoked, women were speaking less. So this is a stereotype that we have created in our mind. The phones that we use, have you ever seen that sometimes as a female you must have experienced that they are too wide for your hand? Why is that the case? Because the surveys that are taken into account when you are creating those phones are those which are conducted on men. And it's all because of those gender stereotypes. Why is it that we are still surprised when people want to break out of those gender norms when they are so stifling? When someone is breaking a gender stereotype, there are both types of people who cheer them and people who judge them. People who cheer them are the people who agree with them and who have that open-mindedness and they believe that okay, these stereotypes are wrong and they need to be broken. But people who judge them, they are the incapable people who cannot take the initiative and who just have that who just have that mindset to sit and just watch whatever the stereotypical show is going on.
So talking about gender stereotypes, I have been someone who don't like to be bounded by anything or any stereotypes. Like when I was a little girl back then, so I used to visit these toy stores with my my parents. So they used to give me Barbie dolls, but I was always attracted by Hot Wheels and Marvel action figures. So even my own parents like, you are a little girl, why you like these weird looking creatures, these Marvels and Iron Man and everything? I was like, no, I like them and I will buy them. If you want to get it, good. If you don't want to get it, I won't buy a doll. So then my family, my other cousins used to judge me like, what type of a girl you are. And even today, I am a big fan of IPL. And I have, in this season only, I have watched 4 matches live which were in Lucknow. And then again my cousins and everybody says, oh my god, what type of a girl you are. You don't like, what is this? It is so uninteresting. And I don't like wearing dresses, heels, makeup at any time. And now what they call me is tomboy. So where does this come in? It is all our society's conditioning. We have been conditioned so badly about these stereotypes that we are not able to accept that if somebody is liking something, it not needs to be a gender thing. I believe everything is neutral when we talk about manly and girly. Everything is neutral. Be it pink color, be it blue color, be it action figures or Barbie dolls. It's just your interest, what inclines you, what attracts you. And whenever somebody tries to break them, a lot of people are there to judge them, as I have always been questioned for what I like. But we don't have to be, bind by the principle of conformity, what people are accepting. We have to accept what we are, and when we accept what we like and we are doing, we will start getting appreciated and cheered. Like my dad has now accepted that this girl is like this, and he appreciates like, okay, it's okay, whatever you like, you do. So that's what I believe.
Have you ever noticed that when a man cooks, when a man is a chef, it's good, it's normal, it's praised. But when a woman does the same, it's her job. Why does she belong in the kitchen? The thing we should understand here is cooking is a basic life skill, right? Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. You should be able to know how to cook because that's how you survive in the world. But then it's always stereotyped that women belong in the kitchen. Why is that?
Thank you, and it's really wonderful to hear your personal experiences. Amazing.
Isn't it fascinating to think that the characters we admire on screen, the stories we hear, and even the advertisements we skip on YouTube, they all teach us bit by bit what it means to be a boy or a girl.
How do movies, shows, or ads shape what we think boys and girls should be like? Can you quote some examples? How does media influence us?
So I think every right thing initially has criticism. I had my 8-year-old cousin come over in the summer vacation, and I went shopping with her, and we saw these 2 little diaries. One was pink and one was blue. But the blue one was more attractive. It had more, things on it. So I asked my cousin, which one do you want? And she said the pink one. And I asked her, why do you want the pink one? The blue one is better. But she said that I saw in those the poems that they see on the phone that pink color is meant for girls and blue color is meant for boys. And I was taken aback. She's an 8-year-old and she doesn't watch any Instagram or YouTube or Facebook to know what are the trends. She just watches her YouTube Kids and there are little stories, fairy tales. But then these things are so inculcated in our lives that even these little things impact the little ones as well. During the big billion days of Flipkart, we have this huge discounts on iPhones. So basically, there is more discounts on the iPhones that are not pink. That is basically what are the pink tax that is imposed on stuff that are pink. Media really changes how we perceive the world, since it is something we see every day in our everyday life. We cannot be without media a single day right now, and there are many examples in which media influences the gender stereotypes. For example, any toy in the mall is for, if it is for girls, it will be some pink stuff or it will be some dolls. And also, like except media, in media also, there are girls which are shown to take the art side and not math side, and it is really very rare to find a girl that takes PCM.
One thing I have noticed, yesterday I was watching the test match taken between England and India. So there was an ad regarding gymming. It's kind of an ad for proteins. And what I noticed was that there was not a single girl in the ad. It was just a boy. Why can't girls go to gym? Is it something only boys do? Even though we live in a generation where we promote open-mindedness, there are girls going to the gym, but we don't really see ads wherein girls are also shown as, very, prone to, games or, gaming, coding, and even for that matter of fact, gymming. And the other thing I'd like to share is that the shows or the movies that are female-centric are not that popular among the audience. They are considered to be, very irrelevant. There was a recent movie known as Mrs. It highlighted how in India gender stereotypes are still there. Not only for girls but for boys. Why are boys expected to, always go out and have an income? Why can't girls do the same? Why can't the boys actually enjoy their life, stay in the kitchen, cook whatever they like, do whatever they want to do? And, it's a very common thing because there is a psychological phenomenon known as conditioning. Whatever you see around yourself, you tend to believe that it is true. Whatever your parents tell you, whatever the society tells you, wherever you go, these movies actually promote, if you see, the female is always the side character, the hero is always the male. In female-centric films, you always see the female as a hero, and that is very unusual to you. That is why, we don't actually promote them.
I know that 90% of the people sitting here are on social media, right? I know that. And I also know that you guys have watched those Sigma Boys edits, salesman edits, frontman edits, right? I know. We all have them, right? So what they promote? You have to be aggressive, right? You have to be a killer boy, right? So what I think that this is totally not correct, right? Because being an aggressive man is not correct, right? And we have to become a gentleman. They should be gentlemen, right? And another example of my personal life is that actually, I have my little sister. She studies in class first, and I want to go in Indian Army, right? And she also wants to go in that, right? But last week, one of my relative came, and we know that in every family, there are discussions based on on careers, right? So they I want to go in army, so they were telling me. But when my sister said that she also want to go in army, so that relative said that, no Arya, this is not for you. Go become IS or TCS, or you should go for the law. It suits you. Then my father got aggressive at that moment. He asked, Ki, who are you, man? You should not do that. Let her do what she wants to do.
We explored how sometimes our feelings are not judged equally, how vulnerability, aggression, or even caring for someone can be treated differently. Why is it that when a boy cries, he's told to man up, but when a girl shares her feelings, she's told she's being overly dramatic?
How do you think emotions are treated differently depending upon gender?
Don't cry if they're a boy, and this is something that has been happening for more than decades. And if we even talk about the occupations, the men go for wars, the men get the right to vote, the women are to foster a motherly feeling among people, among other women. So I think the men are to be strong and have influence over others, whereas the women are to be controlled and to depend upon the men.
In the society is that boys don't cry, men don't cry. They cannot express themselves. I have an example that when my chacha came to my house along with my brother, he's in 8th class though, he was trying to do push-ups. And my chacha told him that don't put your knees on the ground because girls do like that. And even when I was doing some weight training and push-ups, then also my trainer told that don't put your knees on the ground because girls do that. I mean, if you go to, go and talk to any Indian army officer who is a female, like she can do like 30 or 40 maybe push-ups without putting her knees on the ground. So I mean, what's the point of saying that? I do sometimes, maybe in the night, but I mean, sometimes it happens like a lot of emotions come to mind, and also if you don't cry sometimes, then your mind gets very heavy. I mean, you're not able to like your days are going bad, and you're not feeling and you're not feeling happy at all.
First, realize that anger is an emotion as well, and anger is an emotion which is usually attributed to men.
While we shared our thoughts, Principal Ma'am joined us and challenged us to see things from a different angle. She asked how many men, if truly given the freedom to choose, would willingly become homemakers and let their wives bring home the salary? How many of them could stand strong in the face of society's backlash for daring to flip this gender expectation upside down?
How many men would willingly sit at home, look after the family, look after the kids, look after the house, and allow their wives to work? Do you think there will be a lot of backlash from family, from relatives, from the society, with comments like, देखो घर में बैठा है, औरत बन के बीवी कमा रही है? Are those the kind of comments which will come? And how many men would be willing to sort of hear all that and still do what they feel like?
The final question was,
what is the difference between a stereotype and a bias?
There is a stereotype that women, like just now ma'am gave the example of women being housewives. We have always assumed women to be housewives, but we haven't ever heard anyone using the term house husband. No. I mean, men are always assumed to be financially bias can be anywhere. It's not like it's pre-made.
Bias is a natural inclination towards something or someone. If I quote an example, then if I say that women should not drive, then that's a stereotype. But if I'm recruiting a driver and I prefer a male driver, then that would be a bias. So I believe that a stereotype is not gender specified. It is what that has been going for years and years and has been instilled in our minds. We've been conditioned in a way that we think that it is the right thing. All the examples given, such as the colors or women driving, they are stereotypes. Whereas bias is what is gender specified. Whenever there is a program or a workshop here, there are only boys who are asked to set up the chairs. So that is, I think, an example of what a bias is.
Our discourse on tokenism was an eye-opener. We realized that ticking a box isn't real inclusion. True change happens only when everyone's voice is heard, because equality goes far beyond just putting someone there for show. We concluded our assembly with the thought, gender roles are not rooted in biology. They are built by tradition, reinforced by society, and can be reshaped by choice.